Hello, guess what? It is Terry Tuesday. Terry, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. A little bit frustrated yesterday that I didn't have that 9 horse to close out the that late pick four. Would have paid over $3,000. And what makes me sad about it is I did have them in my picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet as my third choice. I don't know why sometimes I go against myself, Terry, but I went against myself, which just drives me absolutely bananas, my friend.
Oh, I know it. It's like me. I had the 9 horse in mind, but I didn't have the horse before. So if we
Mm-hmm.
combined our two, whatever horses you had that I didn't, and put them in there, might have cost a little more, but we would have hit that $3,000. Uh, you
Pick
know,
four.
pick
Yeah,
four.
for
Yeah,
sure. Speaking of combining last night's show
yeah.
with Sean and Jamie, they combined two guests. They had on jockey John McKee.
Uh-huh.
Was a great show talking about his career, and then of course afterwards they had on, of course, is going to roll on me here. They also had on John De Silva, who come on now, you can work with me there. That's John McKee. Where's John? Oh, come on. I had this all straightened out. All right, there they had. They had
Yeah.
on John De Silva, and they talked about that fantastic weekend at Parx that they just come off of with the Pennsylvania Derby. A
Yeah.
lot of really good stuff at the Pennsylvania Derby, and a lot of really good stuff last night with Sean and Jamie,
You did. Yeah. Pretty cool.
All right. Then in race number, we're going to go to Parx today, Terry. That's going to be where we're going to start today. Parx has an 11 race card, kind of interesting, some late scratches, but one of the reasons we went to this new format where we put our picks in as we speak is so we can deal with those scratches. In race number one, it looks like just the 5 horses out, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a look at race number one. Race number one is 6 furlong race, Terry. So far, you can see in the last 30 days, I put this chart together. They've had are you with me, my man?
I am.
All right. Just want to make sure. In the last 30 days, they've had 36 races. The average winning odds were 6-1. The median, in other words, where there's an equal number of below and above the odds there, 3-1. And as I mentioned, where you can see here, the post position had been 6 furlongs, was not really a good place to be on the post. And now it is a good place to be on the post, winning 19% in the last 30 days. And you can see you want to be in the first call coming out of the gate. Looking at our pace setup in this spot here, Terry, we did get a scratch, as we mentioned. That is the 5 horse. So unfortunately, the 5 horse is not in this spot today. So he gets axed out of here. And he was going to be a player in here, Terry.
Yes, he was.
Otherwise, the rest of these horses look like they all want to pressure in here, Terry. We do have a 6 horse in here, a 4 horse in here that is a left arrow horse, meaning its early pace figures are good enough to move that pace forward. A horse forward relative to everybody else might be the pace setter. A couple of first-time starters over here. Interesting to see what they bring to the table, Terry. How do you see race number one
All right.
playing
Well,
out?
on race number one, I actually like to start with the number 2 horse. And then my second pick is number 4. My third pick is number 3. And my fourth pick is number 1. And I like the number 4 horse because it. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. It's two. It's 2 4 2 4 3. Did I do that wrong?
That's
I
what you
did.
have on there. You have 2 4 3 1,
Oh, all
Terry.
right. Okay, back there. Okay, I like number 2 because Hidden Catch. He finished in the money in all 4 of his career races, and he finished third versus similar last race at Parx. So he likes the track okay, and his early speed running style is a really good plus. And then number 4, my 3 butterflies. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey. He has a trainer and wins 21% of the races the first time he uses Lasix with a horse. And this returning to a sprint, I think, will help. And then number 3, Rain Lily. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 1, Bow to the Queen. He is the first time starter, has a trainer whose horse wins 17% of the races in their debut maiden special weight race.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a bullet workout on September 16th.
Mm-hmm. I like the 2 horse Hidden Cachet as my top choice at Parx 4 times, 3 seconds, and a third. Definitely do. one that could improve in the second start off the bench. Number 3 is my next choice, Rain Lily. Did have a major performance bump last time out. That was the first race with Lasix. Today, he gets a second dose of the good stuff. Trainer Bernard Houghton does win 23% of the time. The second time his horse is treated with Lasix, that's an alpha angle for Bernard, because otherwise he wins at 17%. Number 1, Bow to the Queen, probably a courteous thing to do. It is a first-time starter, Terry. You mentioned last that it had a bullet workout, but it actually had a double bullet workout. Went bullet, and go.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about before, Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper, with the thousands and thousands of stats, bullets and go are an alpha angle for first-time starters, though the horse is coming in from Penn. Not the biggest fan of Penn to Parx, but we don't know what this horse is until it gets on the track, so we don't know until we do know. And then finally, my 4th choice in the first race is number 4, My 3 Butterflies. Been off since January. Does have a little bit of 2 furlong pop. Does have a dose of first-time Lasix in here, Terry, but unfortunately, its workouts have been uninspiring. That's to put it the least. Race number 2 is this one is a 6.5 furlong. It's a claiming $12,500 race. Let's page down here to race number 2 to get a sense of what we're looking at. In the, I wish there was a way for me to just skip to the next page, but I can't really do that because if I skip behind the next screen here, we'll take the screen. So I'd like to be able to do this behind the scenes, but I don't know how to do it yet. I'll learn though, folks.
All
anyway,
right.
6.5 furlongs. There have been 27 races in the last 30 days. The average winning odds were 9-2. The median odds against 3-1. We see something just jumps off the page to me here, Terry. The horse that is on the lead in the last 30 days in those 27 races, 51% of them went wire to wire.
Yeah.
And in this race, we do have one scratch in here. That is the 6 horse. So
That's correct.
Is there any others in here?
Not that I can see. No.
All right. So just the 6 horse out. One that I didn't really think was going to factor to begin with. The 2 horse is my much beloved Left Arrow horse, as you can see, meaning it has a chance to move forward. But you're also going to see the 7 and the 1 catch paces that should be comfortable for them based upon the pace figures for all the horses in this field. The 2 horse, along with being a Left Arrow, does have the best late pace and the best combination of early speed and late speed. Terry, this one is your best bet. Why is this race get that honor?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you that I like the number 3 as my best bet today in this race. And then I like the number 2 horse. And then I like number 7. And then I like number 1. So that's how I'm looking at this race. I'll start out by saying I like number 3, Debbie's Surprise. She won her last race at Parx Racing and has a jockey who in the last 7 days has done the following. He's been in the money 4 out of 8 times, winning 2 of those. And another reason is because my daughter's name is Debbie. So
that always works.
That helps me a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she'd be mad at you otherwise, Terry. Now you have Honey Bunny mad at you and your daughter mad at you.
That's right. And you know,
tough, man.
You know, in the past, I've found when I've got like my grandkids or kids' names in a horse, most of the time when I play it, it does pretty darn well. So,
yeah, anyway, if you had both of them mad at you, Terry, you'd be like John Ritter in Three's Company when he had those 2 roommates mad at him.
That's true. Yeah.
And I know you were a fan of that show, Terry.
I was. I liked it. Yeah.
There you go. See, I know you.
Yep. So number 2, Cabra Chica. That's my second pick. She has the highest last speed rating. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Has a trainer who wins 21% of the races in the second race after claiming the horse. And then I like number 7, Valuable Bray. She has lots of early speed. Shorter distance, I think, will help her to improve. And she has a good 4 furlong workout on September 21st. And then number 1, Lady Bernadette. She finished last in her last race after coming into the stretch really wide. So I'm going to ignore that race. And she had done pretty well prior to that. The rail post is winning in a 19% clip, and she has a jockey change, which I think is a good move, and has a good workout on January 13th.
Yeah, I like Debbie Surprise, too, as my first choice here, Terry, in race number 2. I have to be careful to make sure I'm on the right page when I'm pressing buttons. Otherwise, things move all the way around on me. All right, right there. Race through the 3 horse. I'm not a fan of maiden claiming risers, Terry, at all, but this horse appears to be on the upswing in performance. I think it's one that likely could contest for the lead. And again, we showed you those numbers. The horses that get on the lead, they have won at an astounding 50% in the last 30 days. Number 2, Cabra Chica. Is a left arrow horse for me. As I mentioned, does have the top late pace in the field and the best combination of early speed and late speed. It's also a horse that is a track dropper, one of my favorite angles. 7 horse Terry, I see you were in my computer again last night as we are in the same order. Valuable Bray. Isn't that the noise a horse makes? A bray, right? Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, this one could sit right off the lead and I think has an opportunity to take over after the half-mile marker. It's not much to chase in a field with more closers and speed horses in here. So if it can get up to the lead, it might not have to work very hard. And then finally, Lady Burdonette, as you mentioned, that last race was UGLY. But it does have an alibi today. The horse does get to move to the rail that's been on fire. And I expect this is another horse that can compete for the lead today, Terry. Along with it being your best bet, we also have the professor's best parlay of the day. There is a link down below in the description on YouTube and on Facebook and maybe on Twitter too. I'm not sure. So make sure you head over there to Picks with the Professor. Today, 9/27, which happens to be my sister's birthday, by the way.
Oh,
Happy
wow.
birthday, Janice, if you're watching. He's going to go to Philadelphia, which is about where my sister lives. So this must be a good omen. The Phillies getting a 1.5 and the game going under 7.5 runs total. It's a plus 110 on DraftKings. So far, he's 10-10. So a mixed bag, but he is up 1.5 units with an ROI of 7.4. So he's making a little bit of money on the parlays, but can also get all of his major league plays of the day. Those are going to be in the description and as well over on Picks with the Professor's website. So make sure you head on over there, check out the Picks with the Professor, see what you can do. I know last night I was talking with Jared and I was just deliberately busting his chops last night, Terry, because he's a big Giants fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a Cowboys fan, and he was getting so mad at me. I wasn't even watching the game. I was just making up stuff. The refs are making bad calls against the Cowboys, just really rubbing them.
Yeah.
And he was getting fired up, but it was a lot of fun. So afterwards, I told him I'm just playing with him. All right, race number 3, Terry.
Yeah,
and,
he's really serious about those football stuff.
Oh my God, he was getting fired up, Terry. It was really kind of funny, to be honest with you. I was having a good time with it. Anyway, race number 3 is 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf. It is a maiden claiming 16,000. So you got to pay special attention to the horses that are moving around in class here. So far, there's only one scratch that I'm aware of, Terry. And this race, they've only run 2 in the last 10 days. So I went with the full meet statistics. So far, there have been 10 races, 6 of which were won by speed. 5 of the 6 went wire to wire. So if you can get to the front, you got a pretty good chance here. There is a rail bias. 2 through 7 play better than par. And if you catch an 8 or up, you could be in trouble because they have not performed very well. I think there's 9. There is 8 horses in this field. The 8 was an MTO, so he is not in this spot today. Out. Don't have to worry about that one. Again, we find a couple left arrow horses over here with the 6 and the 4. They're both also dropping in class, which I think is an important designation in maiden claiming spots. The 2 is also dropping in class, but his pace figures say even though he probably wants to lead, he might not get it. Couple first-time starters over here with this. Well, the 7's a first-time starter. The 9 is an NC, which means it's never been close, Terry. I don't know if today is the day it gets close or not, but let's find out what you think.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Nope.
Anyway, I like the in the first race there. Let me get to the right sheet here.
Race number 3, yep.
Yeah, I liked number 1 is my first pick, and then number 4 is my second pick, and my third pick is number 2, and my fourth pick is number 6. So let me fix the 2 here.
I get it. Go ahead. You just tell everybody the story. I'll take care of it, Terry.
Okay, sounds good. So we go back here to my sheet, and number 1, Magic Wizard. And I think he's going to be a Magic Wizard today. He has finished in the money in 7 out of 9 races on the turf and has finished in the money in 5 out of 5 starts at today's distance. So he really likes the turf and today's distance. Number 4, Bustin' Up is my second pick. He's his best start speed is fastest among today's stars. He's got a trainer who wins 23% of the time when he brings a horse back who's taken a 46 to 90 day break. And then number 2, Sensible Jim. He drops in class today and switches to a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 6, Clear Cut. He drops in class today and has the highest last race speed rating.
All right. So race number 3 for me, Terry, is the long shot for me of the day in race number 3. I'm going to go with number 3 in here. Debbie Surprise. What happened over here? Are you changing that one right there, Terry?
But no, I'm not changing anything.
Hold on. So this is the 2 horse. I don't know why that disappeared, right? What,
yeah, you need the color needs to be.
I did change it to black. All right. Anyway,
there you go.
I'm going to go with Debbie Surprise as my long shot. No, that's in the last race. I'm going to go with number 6 in here, Clear Cut, as my top choice, in race number 3 as my long shot. It is a left arrow horse. It is the lone PC horse, meaning it can pressure the lead or close if necessary. If the pace is too slow, moves forward. If the pace is too fast, can hang back and patiently ride. Does have the top early last pace combination in the field. Ran the top last race speed figure. And you know how I like when horses have the top last race speed figure and then drop.
Yeah.
Number 4 in here, Terry, Busting Up, is another left arrow horse. It's probably going to be the huge favorite as a Naira dropper. See, both of us are trying to beat that guy. Did show improved 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. So early improvement usually equals a horse on the rise. Number 1, your first selection being my 3rd, Magic Wizard. You cannot ignore that the horse has run at the distance 5 times, has a couple of seconds, a trio of thirds, also on the turf 9 times with 3 seconds and 4 thirds. So always competing for the lead. I mean, competing for the win and at the distance and the surface. And the rail has a notable bias. And then finally, number 7, DeLucci Boy. All right, we'll go with the DeLucci Boy. It's a first timer in here. Does get jockey Ruben Silvera. So I got to believe if Ruben's on this horse, Terry, that it is absolutely live.
Yep.
Race 4 at Parx today is a 7 furlong race. It is the only 7 furlong race on the card today, Terry. So that's pretty good. In race number 4, if I look correctly, only the 5 horses scratched. I think that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. So at 7 furlongs so far, they have run in the last 30 days, 23 races. The average winning odds were 5-1. So maybe here's a place to collect a little bit of a price. The median odds being 3-1, meaning that's right in the middle, just as many horses on the top as on the bottom with higher and lower odds. Again, we find a little bit of an early speed. If you're not in the first 3 at the first call, your odds are probably kind of low of catching the big check here. Again, post position looks like they're kind of fair out to 5. But again, it looks like the inside draw is probably a little better off at 7 furlongs on dirt. I will post this sheet. It'll be you'll have to download it, but I will post the link to the sheet with all this information available at horseracingtoday.net when the show is over. One quick note here, Terry, as I look at this race, I think this one is wide open because you see here, you have the 3, the 4, the 5, the 7, the 6, the 9. They all have similar early pace numbers. This race is going to be, I think, one where any horse can really win. The 8 horse, however, does have a little bit of an advantage early on with the plus pace advantage at 2 and 4 furlongs, which could open the door for closers. The 5 horse having the most late pace. I mean, the most late pace. Yeah. The 6 horse having the second most late pace, and the 7 coming home third. All 3 of these have very similar early pace, late pace combinations, making this an extremely, and I mean extremely competitive field, Terry.
Yeah, the 5 I think is scratched. So
the 5 is scratched.
Yeah,
I think I noted that right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then I like to start with the number 3 horse is my first pick, and then I like number 4. And then I like number 7 as my 3rd pick, and number 9 as my 4th pick. And here's all my reasoning behind that. The number 3, Mocha Bobby, Manikou Bobby.
Something, right?
He has something. He won his last race at Parx Racing. He has a high percentage winning
Do you
trainer.
think the people who named it can pronounce it?
Probably not. Probably.
Probably not.
No, probably not. Probably the wife had him name it that. And
Maybe.
yeah, you never know.
Never can tell.
Yeah. So anyway, he won his last race at Parx Racing, and the winning trainer is a high percentage winning trainer. In the last 14 days, he's done really well. He's had 5 starts, 3 wins, and a second. And then number 4, Dang Nabbit. He finished 3rd in his last race.
Now you got to say that right, Terry. You got to say it like if you're Yosemite Sam.
Oh,
Dang Nabbit.
Dang Nabbit.
There you go.
He finished 3rd in his last race and has the highest last race speed rating. He's tied with another horse. Then there's number 7, Mr. Tuttle. He's got a really high prime power number. He's number 1 in this race, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 9, Where's the Passion? He ran 2nd in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating. He's actually tied with the horse above, and a trainer who wins 21% of the claiming race that he has a horse entered in.
All right. So again, this is a highly competitive race. I'm going to start out with number 4 in here, Terry. That is Dagnabbit. Dagnabbit was better across the board. If you look at the 2, 4, and late pace numbers in the race, so indication to me that that horse is really in good form. Tied for the top last race speed figure, and I think cutting back a little bit in distance is going to be helpful here. Where is the Passion is my second choice, Terry. It's the other to tie for the top last race speed figure. Been effective at Parx, 11 races, 3 seconds, 4 thirds. But what I like the most about it is the lone PC horse in here, or the horses that could get off to like I said, there's a lot of similar pace in here. So this one doesn't look like it on paper, but could get fast, which means the 9 would get a really nice trip. Number 7, Mr. Tuttle is my third choice. This one's running at its lowest level since June. And in June, it ran at this level twice. Both were second place finishes, one by 1 1/4 lengths and the other by just 3/4 of a length. So this looks like it is the right conditions for Mr. Tuttle. And then number 8, Pop Susie. Gotta love that, Terry.
I like the name. Yeah,
you gotta love the name. I mean, you gotta play names sometimes too, Terry. Anyway, as I mentioned, this one does have a plus advantage in a race that's filled with horses with similar early pace numbers at 2 and 4 furlongs. At his best, when you look at the early pace numbers, that advantage gets even better. I create my pace figures differently than folks at Brisnet and so forth. But the post here is a negative. But again, if this horse can get to the lead, as I mentioned, pace setters have been winning at 35% over the last 30 days. That's an outstanding number. Race number 5 before we go on. How's it going, Abraham? Good to see you today. Thanks for joining us. Race 5, Terry, is this one I think is another one of those. This one is 1 mile and 70 yards on dirt. It is an optional claiming for $16,000, Terry. So if we look at the mile and 70 yards on the main track so far, Terry, at the last 30 days, they've done it 39 times. The average winning odds are 4-1. The median odds being 5-2. So that tells me that horses that the bettors back tend to do well. So they usually get this right. Again, we see a tremendous speed advantage early on, with 40% of the horses nearly going wire to wire in those 39 races, and a very strong inside 3 bias. In race number 5, I think the only horse I saw that was scratched is the 6 horse. Mm-hmm. And that horse being scratched is I think a factor in here, because he was the only E horse in the field. Yeah. The 2 and the 1 are both left arrow horses that can make their way to the front. So they get an advantage here, I think, with the 6 scratching. I screwed everything up over here, but the 3, the 4, and the 5 are closers. They all have the most late pace, and those are also horses that should be not too far off the pace either. What do you see in this race 5?
Well, I like as my first pick number 4, and then as you said, the 6 was scratched, so I had to get that out of my picks. It was going to be my second pick,
Mm.
and then number 3 I like, and then I like the number 1 is my third pick, and number 5 is my fourth pick, and here's my reasoning for that. In the 5th race, number 4, Grit and Grind. He drops in class today. He has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 33% of the time when he drops a horse down 2 classes. This horse has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And the trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days has won 50% of their starts, and they have had 18 starts, so that means they've won 9. Now, this horse really marks a lot of boxes off. Then number 3, Royal Coup. He ran second in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 37% of the time when bringing back a beaten favorite to race again. And then number 1, Arrivederci. He ran, yeah, is that right?
No, yeah, that's right.
Okay, he ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and the Rail Post is winning at 18% clip. And then number 5, Political. He drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer.
All right, Terry. Fantastic. I like your picks in race number 5. I'm going to start with number 3, Royal Coupe, as my top selection here, Terry. Missed as the favorite last time out at Monmouth Park. Trainer Penny Pierce rebounded 10 of the last 27 times. She went to the track with a favorite, got beaten, and came back to win the next 10 times out. 10 out of 27, and did show some better fractions in its last start. Number 4, Grit and Grind, is my second choice. The one that knocks off all the boxes for you is dropping multiple classes for trainer Jamie Ness. And that's a 33% winner for the dominant Philadelphia trainer down there. Horse is making a third start off a layoff. Looking back at the past performance, sometimes it improves, sometimes it doesn't. So it could be better in race number 3. But you can't ignore Jamie when he's teamed up with Ruben Silvera. That's usually his go-to jockey. So I think they're planning on making a run at this one. Number 1, Arrivederci. This one is a tough call for me over the 2, because that 2 is my next pick in here as well. But the 2 blew a tire in its last 2 races, whereas the 1 showed better late, so showed some improvement. And then finally, 2, Wagon Boss. I think this one is very likely to challenge for the lead, Terry. But unfortunately, the last couple of races, like I said, blew some tires. So let's see if he can keep the airs in the tires today in this spot. And he moves in there because of the scratch, because I had a horse in here that I was going to put in front of that one. Race 6 is your box it up, Terry. It is also the end of our hot dog pick 4, which we'll get to in a minute. It is a second straight race at 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. So there's another 1 mile and 70-yard turf race coming up as well, too. So at 1 mile and 70 yards, as we mentioned so far, there have been 39 races. The average winning odds 4-1, median odds 5-2. So that means the bettors are usually pretty correct on what they're looking at here. Race number 3, I think, has a significant scratch with the 3 horse being out, because this one was probably going to be your pace setter, had all sorts of advantages. Now that distinction probably going to go to the 2 horse, who does have a plus advantage at 4 furlongs, may not be on the lead at the quarter-mile marker, probably pulls away as they head into the turn. The 4 horse has a plus late pace advantage in a field of horses that usually like to pressure or close. So it'll be interesting to see who takes the initiative. I got my money on the 2 going to the lead. What do you think is going to happen in your box it up?
All right. Well, I like the 7 to start with as my first pick, and then I like number 4 as my second pick. Number 5 is my third pick, and number 1 is my first pick. My fourth pick. And the reason I've done that is I think the weight race is pretty wide open. I think you're going to get some pretty good payoffs in here. Number 7, Hurricane. He won his last race at Monmouth Park after being almost a year, and has a trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days who's won 2 out of 4 starts and a second. And I'm always impressed when a horse has been off that long and then comes back and wins their first race. And then, of course, number 3 was scratched. That was the horse I had second. Then I have number 4, Codependent. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then number 5 is my third pick, Showing Off. He won his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then I like number 1, Scoop Dog.
Scoop Dog.
Yep. The Rail Post is winning at an 18% clip. In last race, he ran third versus similar. So.
All right. So this is the beauty of what we have now, setting this up with our live graphics, because we can go in and make changes right on the spot, right? So we're able to do that. It's now reflective of accuracy, and no more, hey, we have to change this and you have to make mental notes, because we actually have it in the notes. So I like that. All right. For me, Terry, in race number 6, I'm going to start off with number 4, Codependent. This was another race for me, Terry. I felt like it was pretty wide open. That's probably a really good box it up race. I have to agree with you on that. Yeah. But this one showed better internal numbers from beginning to end of its last race. That ended up producing the top last race speed figure. It does have a plus late pace advantage versus the rest of these. And I think they're just going to be a clump of horses going around the track together. And then at the end, someone will make a move and pull out. This one's run at the distance 8 times, has 2 wins, a second, and a third. Also ran some better fractions in its last start. So I'd like to see some signs of improvement. Number 7, your top choice, is my second choice. That's Hurricane. Hurricane, and the folks down there in Florida too, be careful with that hurricane coming down there. It's Hurricane Joy. So take heed, go on vacation, go visit some family, be safe. Hurricane did increase its speed number in both races after its debut. Much, much, much better fractions last time out. Moved closer to the front in its last race, so I think it's one that's likely to challenge for the lead today. Does have a maintenance work between races, so I expect more out of Hurricane today. Number 5 is my second choice, Showing Off, something Terry loves to do. Went wire to wire in its last race at Delaware Park. His other win was from 7 off the lead. I think it was 7th out of 8 when the gates opened. So this is a Terry horse to the bone. A lot of versatility in here. So I like the Terry angle on that one a lot. And then for me, the number 2 gets to call over Scoop Dog. Left arrow horse does have a plus 4 furlong advantage and the best early pace and late pace combination in the field. And this one is our hot dog pick for Terry.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to go 1-3 with, and this one is with 3-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have all these right?
I think I do. I have 1-4 with the 3-4 with the 4-5 with the 1-4-5-7.
Right. So the 3 horse that scratched out is not a factor in race number 6. Okay, good. We got that nice perfectly. So we have upside down tickets. You went 3-2-2-3, 2-2-2-4. Woo, that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, let me see if I can get it upside down correctly. 4-2-2 and 2. And I don't know if there's a way. Yes, there is a way for us to both win. 4-1 in the first leg, 4 in the second leg, 4 in the third leg, and then 4 in the last leg. Is it a coincidence, Terry?
I don't know, maybe, but either 4 or 7 in the last leg.
4 or 7. Oh, yeah. So we can get it both ways. But if 4 dominates, we're both going to have a pretty solid day on our, at least we will on our pick 4. Hopefully. And yesterday, speaking of which, we both hit our hot dogs. So congratulations on that, Terry.
Yeah.
That was a positive, right? We were hoping to get more of them.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed it didn't pay more because it had some pretty good winners, prices. But then that hard favorite won that third race, which, was pretty much of a standout. It ran, I think it won by like 8-10 lengths. It was, and he was pulling up way before the finish line. So,
Rock and Rice. So we picked a trifecta where the winner paid $2.10. Other horses in the tri paid $20. That's not bad. All pay $2. Try don't know Finger Lakes. It just happens to be probably how the pool works out, right? I mean, that's the number of horses in the pool. We started the show talking a little bit about last night with Jamie and Sean. Of course, they'll be back tonight, Terry, as they always are. Mm-hmm. That'll be tonight at 8:00 tonight. They will have on. Here we go. They're going to have on Molly Rollins. She's an editorial assistant at Blood Horse. So if you have any Blood Horse related questions, make sure you tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. The best way to make sure you don't miss Molly and Sean and Jamie is to hit the subscribe button while you're here at YouTube. Our goal for 2023 is to get to 5,000. We're a little under halfway there. Please help us out by hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell your friends about us. That's another way. And then follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the links below. Horse Race, the number 2 day. If you like what you see, please give us thumbs up. I mean, yesterday we had some nice winners. So, when we give you winners, please please pound that like button on Facebook and on YouTube, because it really helps us a lot.
It's like it is. It's like the first race, my top pick paid $10 to win, so that was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. So it helps us a lot with the algorithms on YouTube and on Facebook. It'll bring more people to the show. It's one way you can support the show. All right, race number 7, Terry, as we progress in this long card today. 6.5 furlongs. It is a claiming $15,000 race, Terry. If we look at race number 7 in terms of the pace structure in race number 7, so far we've had 6.5 furlongs in the last 30 days. There have been 27 races, average winning odds of 9-2, median odds of 3-1. And again, you see there are some really interesting numbers here. I don't think there's any scratches in race number 7, correct, Terry?
Yeah, I don't see no scratches.
So you see, look at the post number 1 and 2 combined in the last 30 days to win at close to 60%. On top of that, 50%, 52% of the horses that got to the lead in the last 30 days, first call, were first. They actually went on to win the race. So inside speed looks like it's pretty dominant. Unfortunately, we're not going to catch any inside speed here, Terry, because the 1 and the 2 look more like closers to me than they do speed horses. The 3 horse does, in its past performances, shown that its way to the winner's circle is on the lead. So if the 3 can break sharply, maybe it has a chance. 4 horse in here is the one that is the pressure horse that does have enough early pace to move that horse forward, making it a left arrow horse. The 5 catching the top late pace numbers. And then that you see as far as, so the 4 actually has a plus advantage at 2 and 4 furlong. So should be the one that everybody's chasing as they're heading down the stretch, Terry.
That's
through your
right.
picks in race number 7, where you have your long shot of the day.
I do. And my long shot is the number 7 horse was my first pick. And then I like the number 6 horse as my second. And then number 4 is my third pick. And then I like number 3 as my 4th pick. So anyway, let me give you why I like that long shot.
Tell us why you like the 7, Terry. I'll take care of any editorial changes.
All right. So number 7, Dizzy Gillespie. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race at Aqueduct. So I think this is a drop in the
trap dropper. Yes.
Yeah, trap drop. Yeah. And he has the highest last speed rating. And then number 6, Passage of Lines. He likes the track and distance, switches to a high percentage winning trainer, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 4, Fox Red is my 3rd pick. His best dirt speeds, fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, and this trainer wins 21% of the time that he has a horse starting in a claiming race. And then number 3, Golden Spoke. He likes the track, finishing in the money 61% of the time and winning 15% of those starts, and he performs well at this distance.
That's good to hear, right? A horse that does well at a distance. I like that. Sometimes you got horses for courses, and sometimes you have horses for distances.
Yep.
I'm going to start with number 4, Terry, Fox Red. As I mentioned, speed kills at this distance over the last 6.5 furlongs over the last 30 days. This one should be killing it out of the box, has a plus advantage at the 2 and 4 furlong markers, meaning the way I calculate early pace has at least a 5-point advantage at both checkpoints. Best Parx numbers, if you look at the performance at Parx, everyone runs to their best at Parx. 4 makes easy work of this field. The number 6, Passage of Lines, does have the top early pace and late pace combination, so should be competitive from start to finish. First off the claim for trainer Michael Pino, who wins at 20% when he places a horse after buying it. Number 7, Dizzy Gillespie was a musician, right? Did he play the trumpet?
Yes.
You were around back then.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Has the top last race speed figure. I think has a chance to build on that number in the second start off the bench, and showed that it has some improvement in it, running much better 2 and 4 furlongs, so 1/4 and half mile pace numbers in its last. And then finally, number 5 in race number 7. That is Craze. I think that's probably Brooklyn Law. That's probably what that stands for. This one is making its second start after Parx, after track dropping, like Terry mentioned. Fractions were much better in its first race at Parx than it showed at the Naira circuits. It's another one that's making a second start off the layoff, so a candidate to get better in this spot right here. Race number 8. This is going pretty quickly, Terry. No, I mean, yesterday I think we had a couple hiccups. Today I feel like we're not hiccuping as much as we come through here. Want to thank Philip Perkins and Roy Sturgeon for the thumbs up on Facebook. We appreciate that. How's everything up in Alberta, Roy? Hopefully you had a good summer with the horse camp there for the kids. And now you're going to start to buckle down for 40 feet of snow, I'm sure. Something I'm not looking forward to at all here in Chicago. It's already getting cold. We got the heater on. It's terrible. Race 8 is the second race, which is 1 mile and 70 yards at turf, optional claiming for $16,000. As I mentioned, they've only run 2 of these so far, Terry, at in the last 30 days. So we went with the full numbers for the entire meet, 10 times. 6 winners won by speed horses. 5 of those 6 went wire to wire. There is a rail bias. 2 through 7 perform a little bit better than par. Again, if you happen to wear an 8 or out, you're at a distinct disadvantage because those horses have hardly won at all. On our pace set up for race number 8, I think the only scratch in here, Terry, again, was the 6 horse being a main track entrant.
Well, also the 11.
The 11, oh yes, he's another main track entrant.
Yeah, so 6 and 11.
6 and 11. That's the discount version of 7-Eleven. It's like the Family Dollar stores of convenience stores. This race is going to be, I think, fairly competitive as well. As we look at the pace breakdown here, you'll see that most of these horses, I mean, they all should get trips that they're very comfortable with. None really particularly seems to have a major advantage. The 10 horse, usually a closer, has a chance, I think, to move forward because its pace numbers suggest that it will be closer to the front than normal. And that's without really getting up and going out of the gate. So maybe the 10 horse flashes in there. The 4 horse, I think, and the 9 horse being pressure closers and early pace types, EP types, both have some versatility, which I think could work to their advantage because the 4 can either win from the lead or sit right behind the lead and still win. Whereas the 9 horse, if they're going too slow, can move forward. If they're going too fast, can be patient. So maybe those 2 horses have a running style advantage over the rest. Who do you think has the advantage over the rest?
Well, I like the 4, and one of the reasons exactly what you were talking about is that it's very versatile. And then I like the 9, and then the 10.
You like the 2 versatile horses to get started. See, I know you, Terry.
You do. And then I like the 5 as my 4th pick. So anyway, here's my thinking on that. Number 4, Classy Miss. She won her last race at Parx Racing and has the highest last speed rating. She has a high percentage winning jockey. And number 9, Melza.
Number 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
She won her last race at Penn National and has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 8 out of 14 times.
Melitza, I think that's how they would pronounce it.
Melitza.
Melitza. Like Mel and then half a pizza. So
Melitza.
There you go.
Anyway, this jockey has won 5 out of 14 starts in the last 7 days, and the horse has a good workout. And then number 10, Appreciate. She won her last race at Monmouth Park. Her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. And then my 4th pick, number 5, Lady Lana. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and the trainer wins 27% of the time when he brings a horse back who's had a 90-plus day break.
All right. Terry's been in my notes again because we go exactly the same. 4, 9, 10, and 5. So you know exactly which 4 horses to fade in here. Classy Miss, as I mentioned, is the lone EP type. Won 2 in a row, crushed in the last one. Wasn't even a race. Flipping the turf, where she has 2 seconds in 2 races, and both of which are at fairgrounds. So I feel like in terms of turf racing, it is a track drop. I don't think the surface switch is going to be any problema for Classy Miss. Militza, the 9 horse, is the lone PC horse. We talked about that in the pace worksheet. Again, if the pace is too slow, can move forward. If the pace is too fast, can be patient. 2 wins in 3 turf routes. No wins in sprints or on dirt in 6 other races. So clearly the horse is probably a turf horse. I think you'll probably see it on turf more going forward. Number 10, Appreciate, is a left arrow horse. Won its last with major improvement the first time Paco Lopez rode. And guess who's going to ride him again today, Terry?
Paco.
And Sean said that Paco was very nice to him on Saturday when he was over at Parx. So we're looking forward to getting Paco on the show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. Number 5, Lady Lana, been on the grass 5 times, has 2 seconds, 2/3. Gambler's Fallacy due to make that go. Been on break since late June, so a little bit R&R in the barn. But in the last 3 times that the horse has come off the bench to run fresh, managed to do well in 2 of those and has a bullet workout getting ready for this race. So it looks like it's another opportunity for the 5 horse to run well off the bench. I think the last 3 races, Terry, are all 6 furlongs. Indeed, race 9 is a 6 furlong race. It's an optional claiming for $75,000. So it's, I think, the biggest race on the card in terms of prize money here today. If we take a look at our 6 furlong, the last 30 days, as we break down post position and first call position to see the track biases at work, we see here that contrary to the way the track started, Terry, 6 furlongs has actually favored the post. 2 and 3 have struggled a little bit. 4 and 5 have done okay. On the first call, and you got to be in that front 4. There's only 6 horses in the field, so most of them are going to be in the front 4. And this is a perfectly symmetrical race because we have 2 horses that want to, in their limited experience, that want to be on the lead, 2 horses that want to pressure, 2 horses that want to close. All but the 5 have similar early pace and late pace numbers, but the 5 does have a little bit of an early advantage over everybody. Late advantage, has the top late pace advantage, has the top early pace and late pace advantage. The 3 horse over here capturing the plus advantage at 4 furlongs. So if speed is the way, Terry, the 3 is definitely going to be a part of that mix.
Yeah, that's true. So
what's your mix of picks here?
All right. Well, I start out with the 5s, who I like to start with, and then I go with the 1 as my second pick, and then I go with the 6 as my third pick, and the 3 as my 4th pick. And my reasoning for all of that is, let me get here on this sheet, and my reasoning for that is that the number 5, Evie's Candy, he won his last race at Parx Racing. Has a jockey who in the last 7 days has won 2 out of 8 races in 2 seconds. And then number 1, Mart. He drops in class today, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and should improve at a shorter distance. Then number 6.
Is V-Mart, you think, Terry, more or less expensive than Kmart? Or since Kmart's closing, is it the new alternative? What is that?
I think it is the new alternative.
They're going to have the red light special there, or maybe the green light special instead. I think green light would be better, right?
I do too. Yeah, I don't like the red light. Anyway, number 6 is my third pick, Fiera Kid. Drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and should improve while returning to dirt. And then number 3, Belt Parkway. He has early speed, and that will help his running chances. And then should improve it to shorter distance because of that early speed, and has a bullet workout on September 15th.
So number 3, Belt Parkway, does have, as I mentioned, the half mile pace advantage. So it could be as much as the length, maybe more than the length ahead of everybody else after the half mile. Just have to hang on for another couple furlongs there. Tried a $200,000 non-graded stakes last time out at Saratoga in the mud. So they really thought highly of this horse. Comes back to Parx. Has 2 very first workouts, including a bullet. So it did win its debut at Parx. I think it's going to be a horse for the course here. Number 5, Eve's Candy, your top choice, my second choice. Lost handily to the 3 in its first, when they both debuted at Parx. Won the next with a major bump in the first half mile pace numbers, internals. Does have the top late pace numbers. Does have the A+ early pace and late pace advantage. I think that the 3 is probably still the better horse, just faced much tougher last time out than a maiden special weight bunch. Number 1, V-Mart. Man, this one could be here. I think this one has a really good shot. Easy debut win at Saratoga. Tried also a $200,000 non-graded stakes race in its second start. Didn't fare very well. It's gonna if it runs back to its debut, it's probably an easy win for this horse. Probably going to be a very low priced at the window. So I'm hoping that one of those 2 horses can beat it. And then finally, number 2, Little JP. Was a tough call for this spot because, quite frankly, all of the 2, the 4, and the 6 afterwards, they're all pretty similar numbers, Terry. So I figured based upon the pace setup, I'm going to take the pace bias. I'm going to take the horse that's more likely to be forward placed than the other 2. Race number 10, as we try to close down this card, Terry, is my best bet of the day. Race 10 being another 6 furlong affair, running for allowance of $25,000. Our pace worksheet, again, on 6 furlongs, we see that you want to be fast. You have in the first call, the first 4, they've accounted for damn near 100% of the winners in the last 30 days for 36 races. Post position seems to be either on the rail or a little bit to the outside, is a little bit more favorable. In race number 10, Terry, if I look at this correctly, I think the number 5 is scratched. That's it. Is that right?
Yeah, number 5.
All right. So number 5 was a horse that could have been a part of the early pace, but instead he's not here, which I do think benefits some people in here. Again, now you have a pretty symmetrical race with horses that want to be on the front, horses that want to be in the back. The 4 horse being one that has, I think, a very good pace advantage in here, likely to sit right off the front runners, can win from the lead, can win from a pressurous position. So he's going to be a versatile horse in terms of being able to capitalize on whatever pace they run. What pace do you think they'll run at the finish line?
Well, let me tell you here. I like the number 4 horse to start with, and then I like the number 1, and then because the 5 is scratched, I had to make the 6 my 3rd pick, and the 8 as my 4th pick.
All right.
And so we'll go back here to my notes, and the number 4, the goodness of snakes. I don't know how good they are, but anyway.
Anything that crawls on its belly, Terry, I'm run away from.
Yeah, me too. She's finished 3rd in her last race after winning 2 of the previous starts at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning jockey, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a really good trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days been in the money 13 out of 18 starts, winning 9 of those, a 2nd and 3/3. And then number 1, Plain Drunk. She ran 2nd versus Tougher in her last race. Drops in class today, and the trainer in the last 14 days have been in the money 20 out of 28 times, winning 10 of those with 5 seconds and 5/3. And then number 6 is my 3rd pick, Simia Laugh. She finished 2nd in her last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 8, Beanie Ann.
I'm going to say Billy Ann.
Billy Ann. She ran 2nd in her last race. So
the goodness of snakes. Again, I run from anything on its crawls on its belly, but I'm not going to run from this one. This is the EP horse sitting right behind a bunch of speed. Should get a great trip in here. But what's interesting to me is this is a Jamie Ness horse, and Ruben Silvera is on this one and not on the other Ness horse. To me, that tells you all you need to know. All right. And that other horse is another Ness horse. 2 horse, she's a super freaky. Benefits, I think, a lot from the 5 scratching. I think this one could be on the lead, showing much better fractions last time out. Number 1, Plain Drunk. We've seen a lot of videos of people who are on the Plain Drunk acting a fool, but this one could compete for the lead. Does have the top late pace figures and top early pace, late pace combination in the field. Paco Lopez is on board, but again, I just, when Jamie Ness, the top trainer at Parx, his go-to, his number 1 rider is Ruben Silvera. Ruben Silvera is on the 4, not on the 1. Again, I think that tells you everything you need to know in here. And then finally, number 8, Billy Ann. I think this one should get a great trip in here. Lone PC horse, gets a weight break, making the classic 3rd start off the bench. And if you rewind in the history of that horse, typically the third race off the bench, at least the last time out, was the best in the 3-race cycle. The final race of the day, race number 11, Terry, is another 6-furlong race. This one is for claiming $7,500. Non-winners of 4 lifetime. Our pace setup is going to be the same as it's been the last 3 races. The rail's done okay. It looks like the 4 or 5. If you catch a 9 or out, this field has 12 horses in it, so the 9, 10, 11, and 12 could really struggle trying to find their way to the finish line. In this last race, I think the 5 horses scratched, Terry. Is that right? Just
That's
the 5?
Yes.
All right. So just the 5 is out. So not a whole lot of changes in here. What's interesting, though, to me, I boxed the 2, the 6, and the 11 off because they have almost identical early pace figures. These guys are going to really be battling it up front. The 8 horse does have a plus late pace advantage. So if these guys all go crazy, the 8 horse has a really good shot, Terry, of closing into this mess. All the others should be kind of blobbed up in the middle in this race. So really kind of tough what they're going to do. I think this one is a wide open affair. What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree with you there. It is wide open. I'm going to start out, though, with that number 8 as my first pick. And then I'm going to
go with the shot.
That's right. Then I'm going to go with number 2 and then number 7. And then my last pick is the 12 horse.
Wow.
So, yeah. So right across the board there. Anyway, I like the 8 Healy's Hope because he won his last race at Parx Racing. He has a high percentage winning jockey, and the trainer last 14 days have been in the money 80% of his starts. And then number 2, High Velocity. He finished second versus similar in his last race, and it was at Parx Racing. And then he has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And he also has a trainer who wins 20% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back. And then number 7, Expensive. He won his last race at Penn National, and he likes the distance. Then I like number 12, Crafty Jack. He has a high percentage winning jockey and performs well at today's distance.
All right, so that wraps up Terry's picks. Before we get to my box it up on last picks in race number 11, the first race is in the books. You know how they finished, Terry?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4 in order.
Wow.
You don't see that very often, do you? But we both started off with the superfecta there. The 1 went off at 9-2. The 2 horse went off at 6-5. The 3 horse was 8-5. The 4 horse was 7-2, Terry. So they haven't posted the prices yet. So, hey, we start off with a superfecta, folks. Do us a huge favor. If you like superfectas, please pound the like button on Facebook and on YouTube, because as I mentioned, it does help us with their algorithms. All right, race number 11 for me to close out my picks for today. Again, I think this race is one that's wide open. That's why it's my box it up. I have the 2, the 11, the 8. There's the 8, Terry's 8, and the 6. And in my box it up for race number 11, I like High Velocity. Again, this is a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. I think I had the trifecta yesterday because my 4th horse would have scratched into that for me.
Yeah.
High Velocity just missed as the beaten favorite in its last race. Ran similar fractions last time out at 7 furlongs compared to 6 furlongs in the previous race. So I think cutting back to 6 furlongs is a major benefit for High Velocity. The 11 horse, man, I really wanted to think about putting this horse first, Terry. But these outside posts at these distances, not good. But I think this one could contend for the lead. Number 8, Healy's Hope. I think this one's a complete flyer, Terry. It's your best bet, though. I mean, it's your top pick here because in my way I do things, doesn't really rank very well, but has that plus late pace advantage, meaning 10 points better than the next best horse. He's going to be last, and he's either going to stay last if they don't go that fast, or he's going to come forward if they go really fast. So I flipped the coin and landed on they're going to go really fast. Shook the magic 8 ball. It said they were going to go really fast. Asked my kids really fast or really slow. They said really fast. So I'm expecting a really fast race here. Finally, tough call for me between the 12 and the 6. I went with the 6 because of the post position advantage. I also think the 6 First Navy Admiral benefits from the 5 scratching. And I also like the fact that this horse ran similar fractions at 7 furlongs as it did at 5.5 furlongs. So if you run the same fractions at 7 furlongs as you do at 5.5 furlongs, it's kind of weird logic, but it's actually running faster, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Terry's boxed it up. His is in race number 6. It's also the end of the prime rib pick 4. So races 8, 9, 10, and 11. Terry made like a sideways U, or like one of those things that tunes a guitar or something, right?
Yeah. It's a tuning fork, they call it. Yeah.
Tuning fork, yes. So
Yeah,
you
well,
think the middle races are easy
I think
and the
they're,
outside races are hard.
yeah, I think they're easier. I don't think they're easy. I think they're easier. And I think the outside race and the 8 race and the 11th race are really wide open. As you said, the 11th was really wide open. And I can see you agree with that because you've got 4 in the 8th race and you've got 5 in that 11th race. So you kind of agree with my thinking, but you changed your ticket a little more to give yourself some more coverage in those middle 2.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to beat some favorites in the middle there. I was thinking about, really going short with my 4 horse, but that race is wide open. That 1 horse could win that race as easily as the 4, and the 2 horse can win it too. So
yeah,
that race 10, I think I think the last half of the card is really competitive across the board, unquestionably, Terry. So tonight's, if you're going to make your plays at, what's tonight's thing? Tonight's free track of the day. I don't know. Why did I put Charlestown? Well, I have to put one in there. No free track yet. I'll set one up. Terry, what do you want the free track to be today? Should we make it? Let's see. Let's make it. Can't make it Parx. Don't want to make it Thistle Downs.
no.
Should we make it Presque Isle Downs? We'll make Presque Isle Downs the
do it.
free track of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought is Charlestown not running today.
I don't know if it is or not. So
I screwed that one up. All right. So Presque Isle Downs will be the free track of the day today. Head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. Number 3 in race number 1 is a best bet. Don't Dare Me with jockey Pablo Morales on board. We had Paula Bacon, his agent, on. She was very nice. So
yeah,
I'm sure she got him a very nice mount here, Terry.
I bet you that she did. Yeah.
All right. So let's take a quick look real quick, Terry, at all of our picks for today. Race 1 is in the books. Terry's best bets in race number 2. My long shots in race number 3. So we have a best bet, long shot, daily double potential there. Terry's long shots in race number 7. My best bets in race number 10. Taking a look at the box it ups again. Terry in race number 6 with Hurricane Codependent showing off and Scoop Dog. For me, I like the 11th race as the one with the most wide open, I think. And it's a tough call between the 6 and 12 for me. So if you like the 6 or 12, or you don't think the 8's going to be able to keep up, maybe think about adding the 12 to your set of picks. And then our hot dog pick 4 starting in race number 3. Terry and I thinking a lot alike today on the pick 4s, except a little bit upside down.
That's
Terry's
right.
going to go 2-2-2-4. I got it right that time. I'm going to go 4-2-2-2, both spending $16. And then our prime rib pick 4s. Terry's got a tuning fork. I have a little bit more of a spoon looking thing.
Yeah.
And again, Terry's is $98, just a couple dollars off the budget limit, and I'm at $90. All right, Terry, any final thoughts before we get up and get out of here today?
Well, I'm just hoping that everybody does okay with that hurricane coming in. And we have family friends that live right in the path, and they got their home ready and boarded up the windows, all that stuff. And I hope they're going to go somewhere else. We'll have to see. So I'm just hoping everybody be careful, follow what's been told to you by the officials, because they're, in a lot of ways they're wrong, but in these types of things, you've got to listen to them. So anyway, and then just have a good week. I hope you do well today. As we said, we did pretty good in that first race. That number 1 horse paid $11.80, so that was pretty nice.
Not bad.
Anyway, just have a great day and have fun.
Indeed. And 3 things for today, Terry, that I'd like to close the show with. I know the folks down in Florida are going to need some help, but people need help everywhere. So today, go out of your way to help a neighbor. Do something. If you see maybe there's an older person in your neighborhood, maybe a single mom, somebody needs a little bit of help, just go out and give them a helping hand today. It might make their day. Another thing today, too, when you go out to the store today or restaurant, have lunch or something with a friend, give your waitress or waiter a tip more than they might deserve, because I used to be a waiter, Terry. I don't know about you. And sometimes, man, you can have tough days dealing with the public. And when you do, you don't know how much an extra dollar or two makes a huge difference in somebody's life. It lets them know they're doing a good job. And be honest, a buck or two or three or four doesn't really make a difference in most people's lives today. Although with inflation the way it is, it kind of does make a big difference.
Yeah.
But no matter what else it is you're doing today, Terry, above all things, whether it's at Parx, it's at Presque Isle Downs, not Charlestown, whether you're just at work, you're a waitress, no matter what you do, you're retired, you're going to kick back like Terry and have some pina coladas. We hope it ends up in one place, and that place can only be in
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this Terry Tuesday. Tomorrow, Charles and I will be back for Churchill Downs. We'll do Bank of America or Belmont at Aqueduct on Thursday. Have a great Terry Tuesday.